Hi, and welcome to this episode of ICT Today. Today, I am discussing something that concerns me, you, and everyone called Nigerian, either by nationalization or naturalization. A couple of weeks ago, the federal government of Nigeria proposed a new general multipurpose identity card, which is said to be a 3-in-1. However, this was misconstrued to be 3 new cards. This misconception is the foundation of our focus today. Also, we will discuss the essence of this proposition as well as other factors as it relates to data privacy and security, considering the recently revealed hack on the NIMC server. This and many more will be our focus, and when I say we, it means I am not alone. My guest, Victor Adeleye, convener of Ogun Tech Summit and founder of Grazak Academy. He is also a UK global talent. He's joining me virtually, and together we will be dissecting the newly proposed General Multipurpose Identity Card. What do Nigerians stand to benefit from this new card? How efficient is it going to be? Should we have any concern or challenges? What steps do we take? This and many more will be addressed. Don't go anywhere. The show continues shortly. My name is ABIMBOLA ILORI, and you are watching ICT Today. Victor, thank you for joining us again on the program.
You're welcome.
Let me start with this. Considering that we have other means of identification like the BVN, NIMC, tax identification number, and if I'm not mistaken, our voters card inclusive, won't it be a waste of resources launching 3 new national ID cards?
Thank you for the question. NIMC launching new national ID card, to start with, is not 3. They are launching just 1 card. Even though this card has multi-purpose use case, it has different use cases, unlike the NIN that we already have, the BVN that we already have, the voters card that we already have. But one thing that is very clear that they came out publicly to say it is like it is not 3 cards that they are launching, it is just 1 single card that now has multi-purpose use case. It can be used for different cases. We could go into the different use cases. They came up with different use cases that can use this card. But the point I'm trying to make there is the fact that they are not trying to bring in 3 cards. They are launching just 1 card for different purposes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Well, another question that refuses to go away among Nigerians is this. What is the essence and benefit of this national ID card? I mean, the newly introduced one. What's the essence?
Okay, so I will break down the benefit in like 3 pieces, and I will talk about like use case 1. I will talk about the use case 2 and third use case. The most significant one, which doesn't exist right now in all the ones that we have, is the fact that federal government is looking at how to improve financial inclusion. How do we bank those that are unbanked? Which is why if you look at it carefully, you will see that federal government is doing this with CBN. And even people can go to banks to get the new identity card. But the fourth major use case is the fact that this card can be used for debit card. It can be used for prepaid. It's a significant one because you can't currently use your NIN, you can't currently use your voters card, you can't currently use even your BVN for any of these, like for this purpose right now. The second use case is government wants to do more of for our people. And when I say for our people, I would say like social services. They are trying to have everybody data under just one thing. You understand? So this is like a second use case that, okay, this will be like a centralized place where government can use that. This is where we have our data, And if we have to do something with the people, we can know that with just this new identity card, they can figure out everybody. That's like another like very major use case, and it can even also be used for traveling purposes. And the last one, which I would talk about, is a common one, which we all use already, which is for identity. A lot of platforms, when you go online, you will see that they ask that you verify your identity, and they allow you to either use your voter's card, you can use your NIN. This new identity will also be used for that use case. These are like three major cases where this card is very, very useful. But the very new one that we don't have right now at all is the part that we are trying to unbank those people in the villages, people that are not like digital completely literate, which I think is a great idea.
Okay. I have said this at the beginning of this show that the foundation of our discussion is the misconstrued notion that this is a three cards and not one. So, among other reactions, the question of why three cards, why can't all this be imputed in one like most Western nations is still hanging. And you have actually said that, but I want you to clear the hair, make it clear now. Let us have the validity that is it three cards or just one?
Thank you. So to be very clear on that, it's just one single card. But at first, when the news came out, there were a lot of misconception. And Punch published an article explaining that NIMC came out and explained that it's just one single card, even though it can serve multiple purposes, which is a clarity that has already been done. And I want to add to that the reason why it might be, the reason why it might be hard for us to just have all other cards without doing this new ID is because at the time BVN was created, it is completely different. Like the way NIN that we have right now works, the way BVN we have right now works is like this one single card will now have everything all encompassing in just one single card. Yeah.
I want to go to the more sensitive area now. The FG has promised that the process will be seamless. Do you think it is feasible considering the past trends, all the acts on electoral servers during election, the recent hack on the NIMC server? I don't know if you are aware of that, but the NIMC server was recently hacked and the people's data was monetized, monetization of personal data before the site was actually pulled down. And finally, does the federal government have the capabilities? I mean, we all know that this is Nigeria. They are promising us security. Do they have that capability?
So from my perspective, what I would say is that we all know the process that people go through just to have their passport. We all know the process people go through even to have their NIN. But one good thing I think about this is the fact that if you look at the process they plan to like do this new identity card, federal government is opening different avenues for people to get it. And this is the only reason why I would say I think it should be effective. One, people can get it through their banks. Two, you can even do it online by yourself. So this removes some set of people from going to the banks. You understand? And then they also allow people to go to different NIMC offices to get it done. So I believe that providing three avenues like that, if you look at it, you agree with me that some set of people will not bother to go to banks. There are people that are literate and can easily, just do the self-service on their own phone, and they can easily get their new identity card. So as long as that portal works perfectly, you understand, this will reduce the number of people at the queue. So the only challenge is, will the portal work perfectly or not? But I believe that if the portal works as expected, as promised, then the process should be conducive for we Nigerians. Yeah.
Thank you. This question is a sequel to my last. As we all know that this new ID will incorporate several vital information How safe and secure would our data be following the promise made by FG? You have said it now that there are several avenues to obtain the card. As long as the portal is working and efficient. But how safe would our data be considering the sensitivity of the information incorporated into a single? We are going to have our BVN, we are going to have our NIN, we are going to have our financial records, financial information on a single card. So what's your take?
So what I think is, one, in terms of like security, the standard being used in creating this card is a global standard. So it is something that, at the end of the day, I believe that people will not have to worry about losing their data and things like that happening anymore, because the government is working hand in hand. And if you look at the current, Minister of Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, I sincerely, I've seen the work he has done, and I believe that with people like that in the government at this time, I don't think that breaching of data is something that we are going to experience again. I agree that this has happened before, which has been resolved immediately it happened. But the thing is, like, even data get breached globally, not just in Nigeria. It get breached in the US, it get breached in the UK, in different countries, different part of the world. And this is why cybersecurity experts are coming up harder on how do we secure all of this data. But one good thing is, like, there is a IOAC standard being used for this card, which makes it like very difficult for people to access and get people's data. Yeah. So I think in terms of security, I think we're in a good place.
Okay. Well, I want to believe that increase in birth rates in the last 10 years is not enough. A reason, I mean, it's not enough a reason to introduce a new ID card. Can't the federal government work on the existing biometric identification platforms and integrate them into one rather than creating a new one? Or is this do we look at this as another white elephant project?
Yeah. I also thought of it that why can't we bring all what we have? Because if you look at what we have, there is something that is the same. For example, when you do your BVN, they take biometrics. When you do NIN, we go again for biometrics. For new identity card, we also do biometrics. So this is something that is like common among them all. And what I think is that if we come together and just make everything one, it will be an easier route. But there is something that doesn't exist right now from all other cards, which is the part of being able to use our card for prepaid, being able to use our card as debit card. So, and I think at this time, this is why federal government is partnering with CBN and joining hands with NIMC, so that we can have one card that we know that federal government can know that they can use it for their own services. CBN can know that they can use for their own services. Even NIMC can also use to identify Nigerians. You see that it covers a lot of cases. For example, BVN is just bank verification number, which means if you don't have a bank account, you won't have a BVN. NIN is directly attached to NIMC. So the point is, like, how will FG, federal government as a whole, identify us? This is where this new identity card now comes in. So I feel like it is that one thing that brings us under one. So with this now, assuming BVN has not been created, there will not be need to have BVN anymore. But because we already have it created, yeah.
Okay. In summary, can you please highlight the benefits of this proposed multipurpose identity card to the nationals and to the government? Obviously, federal government won't embark on a project that won't be beneficial. And another question is, how do we get the cards? We've talked about the channels of registering or requesting for the card, but how do we get those cards?
Thank you. Just to reiterate on the benefit again for our people, one of the strong benefits is the fact that you can use this for anything finance related. And I believe that if the government is trying to come in with incentives for the citizens, this is the direct way to get through to our people. And there has been this thing that if they want to give us something, they should send the money to our bank account. You understand? But an identity like this is a way for the government to know that, okay, we can easily reach out to these people because it is all interconnected. Do you understand? So that's how I think about that. And to answer like the second question of like where do people get this? Federal government has provided three different avenues. You can either go to your bank and get it. You can go to the online portal and do it by yourself, or you go to any NIMC office, and this is around everywhere. You can see it in your local government. You can easily walk into this place and get your new identity card.
That's explicit enough. I know that after the request, all the details attached to individual, either you requested online or you requested via bank or you requested via NIMC office, your detail will be captured, and wherever, just like when you request for any of these visas, they either ask you, are you picking up in person or it should be delivered via mail. So if you requested through bank, you have to go back to the bank to pick it up. If you requested from NIMC office, you go back to the NIMC office, or you ask them to deliver it via mail to your address. And the other online platform also, you would also be asked if they are to send it to your bank or to your residential, either residential or official address. So finally, after deployment and it's in use, what are the precautions to be taken in its usage? Considering the sensitivity of information the card would carry, I know other Westerners do not joke with their social security numbers, as we all know. Some Nigerians don't joke with their passport, international passport details. Some will not even play with, like a literate person and a sane person will not play with the PAN number on the back of their debit card. So what are the precautions to be taken when this card is in use and is in circulation?
So because one, there is something about the card that it can be used for either contactless or contact payment. So one of the biggest precautions that I think people should take is one, you don't just like give your card to anyone to use on your behalf. If there is a situation that your card needs to be used, let it be used by you, because this card, because it is coming from federal government with intersection with CBN, with intersection with BVN, I believe that just that single data can be used to trace all of your information, which can bring you into risk when you release the unique number that will be on this card. So the most important thing is the unique number and the QR code that will be on this card. So I believe that people should not allow anyone to have access to such, because that is simply giving out all of your data for free. Yeah.
Well, it's been an interesting time with you, Victor, and thank you so much for coming on the show today. And I hope you are enjoying your stay in the UK. I look forward to having you again some other time.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's nice to be here today, and thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been nice talking about this. Thank you.
The new national ID card is a single, convenient, and general multipurpose card, eliminating the need for multiple cards, not three. It has multiple use cases: payment through financial, government intervention services, travel, and many more. The project is a collaboration between National Identity Management Commission, the Central Bank of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System to deliver the payment and financial use cases. Another benefit is the card will be powered by Afrigo Card Scheme, an indigenous scheme powered by NIBSS. These and many more are what we have talked about today. And to obtain your own, Applicants will have to request with their name through the self-service online portal, NIMC offices, or their respective banks. The card will be issued through the applicant's respective banks in line with existing protocols with the issuance of the debit credit card. The card can be picked up by holders at the designated center or delivered to the applicant at the requested location at an extra cost to be borne by the applicant. It's a wrap from our end. Remember, we are social. Connect with us on all our social platforms. Like, share, and subscribe to our videos and channel. Click the bell icon to receive notification when we post new content. And for news and happenings around, you can log on to our website on www.ogtv.com.ng/live. And until next time when I return with another package, always remember that if it is digital, it is part of ICT.